defying all hatred, be the love beyond toleration, be the love before pride and exaltation, be the love, be the love. Be the hope.
You are listening to Be the Love, transcending through the shadows into a higher state of consciousness. We are souls on the journey, opening up the conversation to heal, awaken, and connect ourselves and the planet to a higher vibration of love frequency. It starts with you. Everything you need is within you. This is your time. I am Stacy Musial.
And I am Sam Fernandez, and we are your co-hosts at Be the Love podcast. Thank you for tuning in and ascending with us. Hop on board the Ascension Bus.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Be the Love, transcending through the shadows. I am Stacy Musial.
And I am Sam Fernandez.
And we are your co-hosts and souls on the journey. And I'd like to begin by inviting you to get centered with us if it feels safe. I'd like you to begin by taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, releasing anything that is keeping you from being present. And take another deep breath in through your nose, breathing in calm, peaceful energy. And breathing out anything that you are ready to release right now. And go ahead and take one more breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, just feeling your body connected to the breath and this present moment, remembering that you always have your breath to come back to. And so today we want to welcome Christine Banman, who has tapped into her art through divine inspiration. She says that her mother has been an integral part of her artistic abilities and has been her inspiration as she has inspired her to paint and create her entire life. She has taken art classes to hone her skills, but she has learned to tap into and listen to her intuition, which is really where her artwork comes from. She has come to realize that her art is her divine calling, and she has been selling her artwork through social media, hangings, and artisan fairs without self-promotion, which leads her to think something else has a mission for her, and she's just along for the ride. I'm so excited to share Christine's voice and artwork with you today, as I have personally worked with her and her divine gift, as she was able to take an idea that I had and beautifully create a Pachamama painting that I will also share on our Facebook page. And I was so blessed to have a magical Ganesh painting that was divinely created and manifested through Christine. So thank you so much for being here today, Christine.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. So tell us, let's just dive right in. Like, what is your divine inspiration for creating art?
Well, sometimes I don't even know. I think the biggest gift that I have been realizing in my adult life is that I don't always know the plan. And all I can do is receive the inspiration and then create it to the best of my ability. And I think that has really shown there was a shift in my artwork that really just surprised even me. Not trying to brag or anything, but it was so cool because it was like all of a sudden these paintings I was painting, I joke around, but they it almost seemed like they're already complete. After they were, I would finish it physically, and then I would look at the painting and then say, "Oh, yeah, haven't I done that before?" And was such a weird occurrence for me, but it was like, no, it just I'm the vessel. It's not necessarily what I, in quotes, chose to do. um, and those are my most favorite paintings. I love to hear the reactions from people, and I can kind of, it's going to sound kind of woo-woo, but I can feel them where they're at in my house. They have a different kind of vibration to them. So yeah, I think I was divinely chosen as opposed to me divinely choosing.
Mm. Well, we definitely love woo woo on our show, so we definitely get that. So tell us a little bit more about just what that's been like for you, just to be that clear channel, that vessel. Um, what does that feel like for you?
Yeah. What does it feel like for me? It comes in different kinds of deliveries, I would say. Sometimes I will go on a binge and all I want to paint are backgrounds. That's all I want to do with my life. Like, and I create these gorgeous backgrounds that have a lot of movement to them. And some people ask me, like, why don't you just leave it? And so I line my room with them.
Hmm.
And then I stare at them and I sleep around them, and I always do a nightly meditation, and so they're always around me. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that one needs a pelican on it, or
Hmm.
or that one needs, like, some kind of other animal or another piece of content. I like to paint animals and any flowers that I choose for my artwork. I like to make sure that they have a symbolism to them, that they have a lightness and a joy to them, because I don't want to bring something into someone's house and a dwelling or workspace that isn't thought out and isn't intentional and might have a negative connotation in some way. And whether or not the person connects to that or not, that's up to them. I'm not trying to force that issue. I just want to make sure I do everything through my intention to, um, yeah, deliver something that is uplifting. And so sometimes it's that. And then I think that one of the coolest things was when I was working on your painting, Stacy, was that we had a beautiful meeting and a beautiful conversation about what the possibilities were. But then I was having a clearing meditation, and all of a sudden the painting just started downloading. And it was piece after piece after piece after piece. And it was like even the flowers were selected. And then it was so cool because when I went later on and looked up what these flowers meant and what these vines meant and why a moon shower and why, certain things, it was like, oh, well, of course, because it's all connected and it's all to support um, the intention that we created initially for the painting. So it comes in all ways, really.
So I'm hearing that really it's about getting quiet with just and allowing those messages to come through you. And at certain times, even though they're maybe, like you said, you had them in your rooms or in your room, surrounded by you, but like really just waiting for that divine
Mhm.
inspiration to come through, and love that, like that download. That's
Mhm.
special.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to put it. Yeah, definitely.
Hmm. So tell us a little bit, like, when did you realize you had this gift?
Mm. Um, in grade school, I would say, I won art competitions every once in a while and, um, random things like that. But I didn't know, I didn't realize that the world wanted my art or that there was a purpose for my art until 2011. And, I randomly just did an evening painting class with some friends and posted the pictures online just because they were so cool and how different people create. And I posted those online, and then all of a sudden people were like, wait, you can paint? I was like, oh, yeah. I kind of can. And so I started to show my artwork to the community of Fort Collins,
Mm.
um, and yeah, it was just kind of it just spurred from there. Like I can definitely tell that that was like the starting point of, um, I guess the bud kind of coming out of the soil. And then, it just went on, and I've been pleasantly surprised and shocked ever since that, commissions just keep coming, and I just keep getting asked to hang my artwork at places. And yeah, I I really am along for the ride. Like there's there's not much that well, I mean, I couldn't choose it better, really.
So you were able to take my idea from creating this, say, the Pachamama painting, and we just kind of talked about that and designed that in a way, or just had an idea, but there was no like real concrete thought. They're just like, okay, this is the symbolism we want to use, and this is that. I'm wondering, is that the process you use for all your painting as
Mm.
you're working with others?
No, no. I really try to guide. Well, I definitely like to listen to the other person and see, one, how much input they want to have, two, kind of their trust level in me. Because some people like, and I love it when people have a lot of very like specific requests, but then I love it when people say, I just want a yellow painting. And so I really go with the flow with it, and just kind of, I've learned through kind of trial and error, specific questions that I need to ask. And um, say when I do like a pet portrait, for example, I want to make sure that, if it's a memorial painting, that painting will create joy as opposed to sadness, like joy in the remembrance. So no, it's a different conversation each time, really. Um, and as we know, if the people listening to this probably you said are woo woo, and not everyone's woo woo. And so sometimes I have to tone it down.
To know
But
your audience.
yeah,
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 definitely.
yeah.
So is there a certain kind of art that you enjoy painting the most, or um, yeah, what does that feel like for you?
Hmm. You know, I think I find joy in all of it. Like I very kindly call my brain a beautiful circus. So there's a lot flying around in there, and it's very pretty. But
The human condition, right?
yeah, yeah, and I definitely know I like a theme. So if I'm doing an art hanging, I like to have a theme so that my beautiful circus doesn't look like a circus when it comes out of my hand. Um, so yeah, I like to go with a theme for, specifically hanging, like art hangings. I love animals. I do. They're such a gift to us. And they're so beautiful. My goodness, there are all sorts of animals out there. Um, yeah, I think I'm on an animal kick right now, but next month it might be different.
Would you mind sharing the story about how the Ganesh painting came to be in your
No,
trip to India?
yeah, sure. Um, so I was blessed to go to India and stay at an ashram in February of 2020, so a little less than a year ago at this point. And um, it was a Ganesha temple, and that was one of the primary gods. And also, Lakshmi was very present there as well. And I got to see a lot of beautiful cattle. Oh my gosh. they know how to decorate a cow there. I know it's more sacred than that, but it's beautiful. Like their ceremonies are so gorgeous. And I was able to have that experience, and then came home and was asked to create a Ganesha painting. And it was funny because I couldn't get over painting two. It just had to be. And there were two backgrounds. You know, the Ganeshas were of the same similar style, a little bit different in their presentation. But it just had to be. I couldn't get over it. I couldn't get it out of my head. I couldn't decide, which one to do. So I just did both. Little did I know this whole time I was creating Stacy's painting at the same time as the original person that commissioned me for another Ganesha. And it was like just so awesome because it was like it was created and it already had a home. Like I was never unsure about that part. Like there wasn't, sometimes as an artist you paint and you're like, oh, I wonder if this is going to sell or not. Like, having that human attachment. But also it was like, there was no doubt in my mind. It already had a home and I already knew I created it for someone specific. I just didn't know who. And then all of a sudden, um, a, a mutual friend of ours, Netta, who is just fantastic. She was like, oh yeah, I've already sold it. I'm like, sorry, not done. Okay.
That was really divinely manifested, I think, too, because I had gone out for a hike with Netta and she showed me a picture of that painting and I said, I want that. See if she can paint me one. And then a week went by and I had traveled and so I was back east and it popped in my head again and I was like, oh, I need to reach out and see if she's, reached out to you. And well, within probably an hour, she texted me before I got a chance to even text her. And she's like, hey, that painting's available. Do you want it? I'm like, yes, and yes. So that was very divinely manifested.
Yeah, cool. I love it when I finally see the face that gets to live around the artwork. They get to live together,
Mhm.
I love
Mhm.
it.
And I love how you put the symbology behind it because the
Mm,
symbols are so powerful. So when I look at that painting, I mean, I just feel the vibration of that
mm,
painting. So the intentionality is, I think, what really draws me to your artwork because it's so powerful.
mm. Thank you. I I definitely um want to, as I get older and more spiritually connected, I would say, I'm realizing the power of intention and how necessary that is for the world. Um, I had a beautiful conversation with one of my coworkers and friends about setting the intention for the painting before it's created. And so she gave me this idea that I've kind of run with of painting a word across the canvas in water or the background paint color before I start, and just to make sure that the intention of that painting starts from the beginning.
Mm.
And sometimes with the backgrounds, I'm not quite sure what that intention is yet. And so it'll get painted in water once I figured out what is supposed to be on that canvas.
Mm.
But yeah, and especially with something as sacred as Ganesha, every Hinduism is so interesting because every little thing that is incorporated in their illustrations of their gods and goddesses, and or however you connect to Ganesha, is so intentional. My goodness, it is so cool. And I've always loved humanities, and I love learning about why. Why why a tusk in a hand instead of um, something else like a quill, say, because yeah, there's just all this meaning and intention and story. And man, I could listen to stories all day.
And when it's hanging in someone's home, like, I mean, for myself, as I experience looking at that, it's a very powerful,
Mm,
you can feel the intention, you can feel the creation of what you have put out in the world. And so I just, I feel like that is such a powerful thing to be able to create your art in that way. And so I know at one point when I first met you, you had mentioned that your mission was to really create affordable art for people. So
mm.
so tell us a little bit about that and what's led you to that mission.
Yeah, I firmly believe that everyone deserves to have beauty, and everyone should be able to have beautiful things around them. I think, I actually went to school for interior design, and I saw over and over and over again how important um, people's environment is actually, and how many things can change, and how much healing can occur if you allow yourself to have beautiful things around you.
Hmm.
And and as there's always functionality as well, but um, I and I'm not the richest thing on the world, so and I wanted it and I like beautiful things. So I just wanted to be able to start to create um, artwork for people that were similar to me, and not make um, custom artwork, or you know um, custom artwork to a person, or even just having a original piece. That's what I'm trying to say. Original piece of artwork in someone's house, outrageously priced so that it's unattainable. um, I've had a lot of arguments on that. On devaluing and stuff like that, but I just think it's I just want to be able to support people's life in some way. So if all I can do is change, if you smile when you walk by your wall and during the day, like that's at least one more smile.
Hmm.
And I think everyone should have that. It shouldn't just be for the rich and powerful.
Hmm. That's such a beautiful, beautiful mission to have. So thank you for putting your artwork out in the world.
Mm.
How has creating art helped you with your own shadow work?
Mhm. I, you know, it has really allowed me to work through quite a few shadows, actually. Um, yeah, because even self-promotion for someone who's actually rather shy is hard, but who else is going to do it? Netta sometimes, but no. But yeah, being able to promote myself and feel that I am actually worthy of the promotion is huge. And then also having, man, I'm a nervous wreck before art shows, because it's like that is my soul on those canvases. I really do put as much love and care into my artwork as I can. Um, and then to put it in front of a lot of strangers where I don't know if the next day they're going to be like, oh, you shouldn't quit your day job. um, but yeah.
So those deep judgments, it sounds like, from
Oh yeah.
the outside world. And so do you find that you're moving through some of that shadow work that comes up for you?
Hmm. I do. And I honestly, I joke about Netta, but I am so blessed to have the people in my life that are cheerleaders for me. And even when I'm terrified and when those shadows are louder than the light, that they can say, no, no, stop. You're good. Keep going. And so when that fear comes up and, yeah, the shadows of arrogance and self-promotion and can't think of the word, but not being humble, um, are staring me in the face, and I'm like, what? Who am I? Like, what? Who do I think I am? Um, are staring me in the face. Like, I luckily can go back, and if I really need it, see the paintings that people have purchased and the artwork that people have commented on and things like that it's like, no, there's at least one,
Mm.
you know um, and so then you pull yourself out of the pit, that fear pit where it's like, okay, no, just keep going. Like, you got to see that fear and go towards it,
Mm.
because I don't want to be crippled by fear, and I'm not going to put up with that. So,
So you feel the fear and move through it anyways.
mm,
Move past it. And it sounds like you
mhm.
really call upon just your friends and cheerleaders for support and validating that, yeah, this person has this painting hanging up. And 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 so when are you able to come back to that divine place where you recognize that something else is guiding you?
Every day. Yeah. Um, Maybe not all day, every day, but every day. I typically do my normal job, and then which I'm very blessed to have, and then I paint from, you know, 7 to 1 a.m. And I love the universe so much, and it's so funny because I um every time I'm like, that's probably enough. I can throw in the towel. I get a ping from someone, and I get another beautiful client or something that says, I've been waiting to ask you for a piece of artwork for years now, and it's time. And it's so funny because it's always when I'm like, I'm good. That's fine.
The
I'd
universe
be,
has other ideas.
yeah. And I do a lot of gratitude practice when I am painting, during painting, because there's no reason people should ask me. Not really. I love to paint for people, and I love to succeed at my mission, and get the challenges from people. Like, oh my gosh, people are so creative, and I'm so glad they let me be the vessel.
Mm.
And the universe lets me be the vessel too. If it's um, just so it's just amazing. And I do try to practice my gratitudes, and every time I'm looking at a painting, especially the most interesting challenges that people come up with, I'm like, thank goodness that people believe in me. Like, it's so cool.
That is really, really awesome. And your art is just absolutely beautiful. So I can see why people are really drawn to that. Can you tell us a little bit about just your own experience, or what you feel like the connection is between art and spirit?
Hmm. That's actually the first thing that came to mind when you said that was, I believe in a way that art and nature, I would say, are the closest that we can get in our physical form.
Mm.
Um, yeah, breathing in and being able to feel an emotion that's evoked and you don't know why. I think that's a spiritual connection to me. Whether or not you're seeing a beautiful mountainscape or whatever, gone on a beautiful hike and see, a city, or you can just walk by a painting and say, "Oh, I don't know why, but I love that." And it evokes such an emotion and such a feeling that when unexplainable, I think that's when the spirit intervenes.
Mm. Sounds really beautiful.
Mm.
Tell us a little bit about maybe advice you might have for other people that are maybe wanting to tap into that creativity or that art piece and, haven't felt they were good enough or, like for myself, I'll just give you an example of myself. Sometimes when I'm given this blank canvas or, these art supplies, and I've been in these situations many times where then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, am I going to do this right? Or am I going to do this right? It's so like I overthink that sometimes, but I know um, what's helped me. But I'm wondering what advice you would give to people who want to tap into that creativity and tap into that spiritual side of themselves and just create, right? Because we're all creators. We're here to create whatever that might look like. We all have some creative background, creative, message. And so I'm wondering what would be your thoughts and advice on to someone who might feel that paralyzation and not be able and struggle with tapping into that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I absolutely think if you're staring at a blank canvas, a blank piece of paper, and you have the urge to create, it's never going to be wrong. And just break the seal. So I don't care if that mark is going to be covered up later or whatever, but put a mark down.
Mm.
Because that breaks the purity of that canvas in the most beautiful way, because then the adventure starts. And once you have a mark down, it's like, okay, then you get the momentum.
Mm.
And then the momentum takes you to your creation. So just put a mark down. It doesn't have to be right. And I know perfectionists out there, and I am one too. It doesn't have to be right. There is no right. Some of the greatest artists, they paint things that are silly and nonsense, but they're great artists. And also, art isn't necessarily bubble drawings of people, and art isn't necessarily an animal drawing, and art isn't necessarily a landscape. And I think the funnest I've had, um, well, in a way, I guess the most freeing experience I've had as a painter is when I painted a painting with squirt guns and sponge balls.
Mm.
Oh, they're weird and it's just nonsense, but it splashes and it's movement. And honestly, if you really don't like what you painted, you can turn it into a Jackson Pollock and splash paint all over it.
I love it. So it can be transmuted.
Yes, yes. I think that's the biggest thing is the biggest leap to get over that fear is just make the mark.
Mm. Make the mark and move through that perfectionistic tendency. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Mhm.
Imperfectly perfect.
Yeah. And get out of your head too.
Mm. Mm.
I'm gonna sound like my boss, but get out of your head because art comes from the soul. It doesn't come from planning.
Mm.
And sure it does. It all is right and it's all not.
Mm.
But using art as a therapeutic practice, I think allows so much to come through. I know it's allowed me to get through some of my toughest times. I know there are very specific paintings through my portfolio that were a godsend. They were really the perfect painting at the perfect time because I needed help. I needed to get through something and I needed support and I needed not to distract myself, but to get quiet. So, yeah,
So
get
it
in your
sounds,
body, do some
hmm.
squats if you need to get into your body or whatever, some leg pats and make the mark and you're good.
Hmm. So it sounds like just the art itself just has helped you move through even just some of those darker times
Mm,
and being able to process through some of those darker things that you might have been experiencing, but helped you move through the other side.
100%. Hmm.
Hmm. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So tell us a little bit about how does art, how does it incorporate love? Where just coming back to that message of being the love and transcending through the shadows, so moving through the shadows and being the love. How would you say art or your art has helped with that process?
Mm. That's almost of a question of how doesn't it? Um, I, on a human level, let's say, I love when I turn in a painting and I see an emotion. That is as I said, on a human level, that is the biggest validation I've ever had ever in my life. And especially pet portraits, like, I started off not loving them, but I could do them. And however, when I would turn the pet portrait in and I would see the joy that it brought to that person and the love and the emotion that for a second they could feel again from their beautiful dog or cat or whatever, iguana. I've painted an iguana, which was so fun. um, and have them be able to feel that connection and know that I helped create that. That that's how I express love. Absolutely. And I think the universe or source or God, whoever you consider divine, has given me the talent so that I can express love and so that I can be a vessel for some of the love that spirit can give to us. Because, I mean, I say me and I and whatever, but it's not. That's silly to think anymore, especially with how my journey has gone. But yeah, I think those moments that you can look at a painting and have an emotion, like I said earlier, is a taste of a love.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful for it. Yeah, there's no amount of gratitude that I can express to embody, yeah, how much love I try to put into the paintings or let channel through me to put into the paintings.
It sounds like you've certainly been on quite just beautiful journey, just discovering your talents and moving through some of that fear and just continuing to tap into that universal energy and moving through you. So that's really, really beautiful. Um, Tell us a little bit about maybe what you're working on currently.
I sorry. I am currently working on a massive painting. Not the biggest I've ever created, but biggest I've ever created in my apartment space here, and it is a big guy. But I'm so lucky because this one is going to pack a punch as well, just like Pachamama, because it's 8.5 by 5.5 feet. And
Wow.
it is a Egyptian lotus flower and a dragonfly,
Mm.
and all the symbolism that those two babies carry. So there has been a lot of meditation happening and a lot of recentering because, yeah, it's going to be cool.
Wow,
But
this sounds absolutely amazing.
yeah, yeah. And the recipient, the person who commissioned it, is all ready for that symbolism, you know?
Hmm.
And yeah, like I said, you can just look at my paintings and think they're pretty and like them. That is perfect. That's great with me. But a lot of times there's I call it why I'm cool about my paintings.
Mm.
It's like this painting says, why I'm cool is because I also have a topographic map of Horsetooth behind these shoes. Or
Mm.
so it is a, yeah, silly side note. But yeah, that's what I'm working on currently.
That sounds like quite the project. I'm sure it sounds like it also takes up quite a bit of space in your home, but
Yep.
I imagine it'll be beautiful when it is hanging up in that
Mhm.
person's home. Very cool. And so, tell us a little bit about where people can find you.
Mm. So I do not have a web page. I have failed miserably at that. However, it's because Instagram and Facebook have worked so well for me. So I am on Facebook and Instagram. If you just type in Christine Amber Design, you'll find me. I'm there. And then my exciting 2020 project was getting a Society 6 shop. So if you don't know what that is, it's a cool web page where you can upload your artwork and then basically get any painting that I've uploaded as a shirt or as a tray or as a credenza and
Wow.
all these cool things. And it was a lot of work and I'm so excited about it.
Oh, very
But
cool.
if you want to see, new progress of paintings that I'm working on, commissions and all of my nonsense, Christine Amber Design on Instagram or Facebook are perfect.
Okay, wonderful. And we'll post that in the show notes as well so
Hmm.
people can have access to that. So awesome. So, well, thank you, Christine, for being here with us today and sharing about your experience and
Thank
your
you.
divine inspiration. Thank you for listening to our show, and stay tuned for more episodes being released on Mondays at 5:55 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And until next time, love yourself, love each other, and love the world. And if you like the show, share the love by sharing it with your friends. We love you guys.
Love you guys. Take care. Talk to you soon. Thank you, Heather Lynn, for providing us with your beautiful song to accompany our show, Be the Love. If you would like to learn more about Heather Lynn and her music, please visit her website at heatherlynnmusic.com. And thank you, Chrissy Grace at Leading Edge Productions for the beautiful design and graphics.
And thank you for tuning in. And until next time, we are souls on the journey. And thank you for hopping on the Ascension bus with us. And remember, there is always a seat for you.